Hi friends, welcome back to Rustic and Lace DIY. We are in the middle of the month and we have another fun video for you. But before we get to that, I just want to shout out to my grandson, Braden. We love you and we miss you and we think about you all the time. So with all of that being said, let's get to crafting.
Okay, DIY number one. So I have one of these Dollar Tree signs that I got recently, and I'm going to remove the paper from the front. And let me tell you, it wasn't an easy task. Normally I can pull off really big pieces, but this was just coming off with small chunks. So if you don't want to go through the hassle of doing all of this, you could just cover the front of it up with some like shipping paper or wrapping paper or whatever you'd like and paint the back, because to be honest, I do end up painting the back side or using the back side of it because the front side did not look very well. But once I got that top layer off, I went ahead with some water and spritzed it all down, and then I let it sit for about 5 minutes, and then look how easy this stuff comes off. I was like, why couldn't that top layer come off this easy? So I'm just using my paint scraper to get the rest of it all off, and I barely had to scrape at it. It just was coming just off so nicely. And then after I got it all off, I'm going to paint front and back with my Waverly chalk paint in the color Plaster. And then after that was dry, I used my Cricut and created these stencils. And I'm using Frisco stencil vinyl. And I'm just going to add it to my sign just like you see it right there. And then after that, I'm going to take Waverly chalk paint in the color ink, which is really black, and I'm just going to take my stencil brush and I'm just going to pounce up and down all over my words. And then I used my heat gun to dry it all, and then look what happens. You guys, this is why I would rather use wood, because it started not just pulling up the paint, but pulling up some of that MDF that they use, and or whatever board you want to call it. But I was just so frustrated. It's like, oh man, look at all of this. So once I got all that vinyl off, I did touch it all up with some paint, but it's not as smooth as I would liked it. So then I had these crosses in my stash. They came from Hobby Lobby, and I'm going to paint one I'm going to wax it with Waverly Antique Wax. I just brush it on and then wipe off any excess. And then I'm going to take 3 nails that I found in my stash, and I'm going to paint them with my ink. If you wanted to rust this up, you could do that. But instead, I decided to take my True Burgundy by Folk Art and just dip the tips of my nails into that True Burgundy. Then I'm going to use, and I let those dry. And then I'm going to use my Titebond Quick and Thick Multi-Surface Glue to glue my cross right next to the word cross. I took my Fix-All glue and hot glue to glue the nails on, but they weren't really sticking, and I was kind of thinking that they might not stick very well. So instead what I did is I put them all 3 together and I just wrapped some twine around them, and then that way I could glue the nails on with the twine. I used hot glue on the back of the twine, and then it held much better. But as you can see, there just was not enough surface for that Fix-All glue and hot glue to really hold those nails together like that. So after that, I took some of my braided jute, I call it ribbon. I love this stuff. This is from Amazon. I'm going to go around my sign with it. I do have it in my Amazon store, and I have a link to that, or to my store, in the description box if you're interested in it. And then I went ahead and took the hanger that came off of that sign, and I'm just going to thread it through the hanger holes and tie knots on the back. Well, one side needed a knot. The other one already had a knot. And there it is. I love how this came out. It's very simple, but it truly has the real meaning of Easter on it.
Well, here we are. It is the middle of March already. I can't believe it, but I'm excited. You all know I love summer. I love the heat. I know I love you too. Mwah. And I love the sunshine. So I am excited. We are in the middle of March, which is kind of bittersweet because here in Oklahoma, we do have to worry about tornadoes starting up, and that's never fun. But I have my faith in the Lord that he will not put me through anything more than I can handle because he's right there by my side. So, I always like to take this moment to welcome you if you're new. My name is Brenda, and this is my sweet sleepy Oliver. And if you are returning, you guys know how much we appreciate and love you guys. For those of you who are new, if you like home decor on a budget, I would love it if you hit that red subscribe button, become part of our YouTube family, and help me reach my 30,000 goal. And then for those of you returning, you guys know how much I appreciate all of you. And by the way, I'm not going to talk about it a lot, but whenever I hit a big milestone, and 30,000 will be a milestone, I do usually have giveaways. And so we will have some more giveaways coming up. So stay tuned for that. So make sure if you like this video and you know someone else who might like crafting and home decor, make sure you share this video with them and encourage them to subscribe if they enjoy it as well. So we're going to keep this short because my last one was way too long. So with all of that, let's continue on with the video.
Okay, on to DIY number 2. So I have one of these flower and garden pails from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to paint it with my Waverly chalk paint in the color plaster. I did do, I think, 2 coats pretty much on it. Once it was dry, I took some of my burlap and I cut it down because it was a little too wide, and I'm just going to hot glue it from one side to the next. And then I cut a second piece and I covered the back as well. But I'm just going to use a little hot glue and using my finger protector, just tap that burlap into my hot glue. Once I was done, I took, these are 1/2-inch letters, wood letters that I got from Amazon, and I put them on some painter's tape to hold them in place, and then that way I could just brush all that antique wax on, and then took my paper towel to wipe off all the excess. And then when I was done with that, I have a drop cloth that I bought from Walmart years ago, and I've never used it, and so I dug it out of my closet and I cut some strips from it, and I'm just going to hot glue it to the front. I think I did hot glue some onto the back as well. And then once that was on there, I'm going to take my wood letters and some hot glue, and I'm going to glue them on the front so that it says "He is risen." And once I have them all hot glued on, I am going to take some green styrofoam from Dollar Tree. I had 2 of them fit in here perfectly. I'm just using a little hot glue to just glue them in place. And then I took some of these bamboo sticks I get from Amazon. They're in my Amazon store as well. And I'm going to cut one down to, I think it was 11 inches. And then I'm going to cut 2 down that I think they were 9.5 inches. And then I have a smaller piece, and I don't remember how many inches those were, maybe 6. And I'm going to cut 3 of them down to that size using those miter shears. Then I'm going to go over all of them with my Waverly antique wax, just like I always do, brush it on, and then wipe off the excess with the paper towel. Then I'm going to lay out my pieces where I want them and use a little hot glue to hold them in place. I'm going to take some twine here and I'm going to wrap it around my cross. I'm going to wrap it twice, and then I'm going to go around on the other side and wrap it twice. And then that way my twine is both on the back, and I'm just going to tie a knot right in place. And then after my knots are tied, I trim down the tails so that it's not seen. And excuse me for clearing my throat. I've been around my sister the last few days, and I think I'm getting her cold. I'm going to, once I had all 3 crosses made, I put the larger one in the middle, and I'm taking the 2 shorter ones and putting one on each side of the larger one and just kind of behind it. And I'm just poking those through, but the top one, or the first one, was a little loose, so I do end up just using a little bit of hot glue around them and then pushing them in, and then that kind of held it in place. Then I took some more hot glue, and I'm just going to start adding some Spanish moss over the green styrofoam. And then I thought, there's too much gap here, so I took some bags, and I'm just going to stuff those bags in there to fill in the gaps. And I did that all around. And then once I was done, I just went ahead and kept adding some more Spanish moss. I'm going to take some more and just stuff it in there to cover those bags. And then I'm just going to go all the way around adding my Spanish moss. Once I was done, I took some more of that drop cloth and I fold it in half. I'm going to add a little bit of hot glue behind the tall cross, and then I'm going to put that drop cloth. I'm sorry this is not in view, but I'm just going to put it around just like that. And then I took some of these little flowers that came from Dollar Tree. I've had in my stash for a while, and I just thought these would look perfect in there. And I'm just going to poke a few, I think, I don't know, 6 on each side. And I don't think it was that many. I don't remember. Maybe it was 3 on each side, 6 altogether. I don't remember. But anyways, yeah, I think that's about it. But there it is. I love how this came out. I hope you do too. You'll have to let me know in the comment box below. Okay, it is a time for celebration of your recreations. And what do we have today? We have Cynthia, who made this pretty hanging beaded sign with her pretty flowers. I just love it, Cynthia. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. And then we have Stephanie. These are all quilted wreaths. I just love how they came out. Those are truly lovely, Stephanie. Thank you so much for sharing those. And that's all we have today. So if you have something that you would like me to showcase, you can email pictures to my email address, that is rusticandlacediy@gmail.com, or you can send them to me through Instagram or Facebook Messenger. Okay, and we are off to DIY number 3 now. So for this one, I'm going to take this 9x12 wood board that I bought from Woodpecker Crafts. I am an affiliate with them. I have a link to them in my description box as well. And if you do purchase through that link, I do get a kickback from them. So I'm going to paint it with Waverly chalk paint in the color plaster. And then I bought these from Essential Stencils. I am not an affiliate, but I love their rub-on transfers. And when I saw these, I was like, I've got to get those. I just thought they were beautiful. And so I'm going to cut that big Jesus with the lamb out. And then I'm going to put him right here on the front of my board. Now there's rub-on transfers have always been really nice, but these had kind of a chemically smell to them. And when I was rubbing this, it was it was going fine, but when I was pulling up that transfer or the top transfer tape there, it was kind of starting to pull at the image a little bit. And I kept rubbing and it kept kind of like pulling up but laying down and wrinkling. So I just had to be really careful with this one, which is kind of surprising because normally their stuff is really good. But it wasn't too hard and I got it on there. I was determined anyways because I just love this. I just think it's so sweet. So I'm just going to rub it and then pull and rub it and pull and just be very gentle with it. Then I again created this stencil, and I hate doing more than one on a video with my Cricut, but I really wanted it to say this. If you have stickers or wood letters, you could do this as well, but I'm just using Waverly chalk paint in the color hazelnut to go over it. And then look, see, it doesn't pull up any paint. That's why I much rather use wood. And then I'm going to take some of the flowers that are part of that set, and I'm just going to add them to the corners on each side. And these came off much nicer than the picture did. Then I decided it needed some distressing, so I'm taking my Waverly Antique Wax and this little chip brush that I got years ago from plaidonline.com. I don't think they have it anymore. I know I have people ask me about this all the time. I just love them, but that's what I did to do my distressing, and then I did a little bit in the middle. Then I just turned it over. I used my ruler to find the middle mark, and then I went 2 inches over to the right and 2 inches over to the left from that middle mark. And then I'm just going to tie knots on the back of some twine and staple them in because this is nice thick wood. And that's all there is. I've already got this hanging up in my house. I absolutely love this. I think it's gorgeous. I hope you like it as well. Okay, DIY number 4 is next, but real quick, on a quick note, I'm going to have a video on Thursday. It may be a compilation video, you guys, because I do have my sister visiting, my other sister, and my grandkids and their parents are moving out this weekend, so I have a really busy weekend, so I may not get another video up in time. I might have to just do a compilation video, so I'd appreciate it if you watch it. So as you can see, I have that half circle I got from Walmart, and then I took my 3-inch circle that I think came from Amazon, and I did made a circle with it, and then I made some squiggly lines, and I'm just using Waverly chalk paint and the color Elephant to go along the top part of that squiggly line and paint all of that. And then I'm taking Waverly chalk paint in the color Sandstone. This is such a pretty color and I don't use it very often, but I am just going to go along the bottom part of that squiggly line, and then I'm going to trace out the outside of that circle. And I'm just going to go all the way around that, and then I paint the rest of that board, leaving that circle inside that circle blank, and then I painted the rest with the sandstone. Then I took ink by Waverly and a small paintbrush, and I'm just going to paint the inside part of that circle with my black. And I just, oh my goodness, you guys, I think this one is my, well, no, it's not my favorite. It's my second favorite. The last one really I think is my favorite, but I'm going to paint this, and then after that, I let it dry, of course. Well, I probably used my heat dryer. I always use my heat gun to dry my paint. I'm too impatient. I took some water and spritzed it on the round because my elephant is getting pretty thick. So I spritzed it down with some water and then went over it with my elephant. And it really does give it more of a stain look. I love that look. And once that was dry, I went ahead and used my Tite Bond glue to glue this. And I'm going to glue it to where some of it is over the black so that it looks like it's over the hole of the tomb. And then I'm going to take this letter. This says rejoice, or this word. This came from Hobby Lobby a year or two ago. I got it. It's in a package of different words for the table. And I think it's like a table scatter. Anyways, I'm going to glue that on. And then I took some 1-gallon paint stir sticks and I was measuring to see how long I wanted it on each side. I think it was 2.5 inches on each side. And once I figured it out, I'm going to mark it here, and then I'm going to use my miter shears again to cut it. Now, these are a lot harder to cut. So what I was doing is, as you can see, I was cutting it, making the indent with my miter shears, and then I turned it over and did the same thing. And then I'm going to go back on the other side, and you see me pushing and pulling. You can sometimes just break it off, but these are too thick to do that. So I went ahead with the tip of it and went right through where I had cut before, and it cut through. And I'm going to do that on the other side. I'm going to go to the other end, and I'm going to use my tip to cut through it. And then I'm going to turn it around and go to the back side, and I can see kind of where I was cutting through, and then it popped off. So you just kind of have to work with it a little bit. Then I just laid it down and marked where it's going to be, and I'm going to use my Tite Bond glue and a little hot glue, and I'm going to glue that in place to create the cross. After that, I'm going to go over it with my Waverly Antique Wax, and like I've shown you before, I'm just going to brush it on and then wipe off the excess with my paper towel. I didn't do the whole thing at once. I just kind of went in sections until it was all done. And I did do front and back because you will be able to see the back side of this. And then I had, last summer, I went to Home Depot and bought some really long strips of 1x2s, and then I cut them down, and this is a 12-inch. I cut this one down to 12 inches. So I'm just going to go over that with my antique wax as well. I went over all of it. And then once that was dry, I laid my cross behind my half circle and marked it so I knew where to put my glue. I'm going to put my Tite Bond glue and hot glue. The Tite Bond glue is permanent hold. The hot glue is immediate hold because I was rushing to get this done before my sister showed up. So yeah, it's been a busy week, you guys. My sister and her family was supposed to be here for Christmas, and something came up. They weren't able to make it, so they're here now, which I'm so thankful for. So then I'm going to use my Tite Bond again and my hot glue and put that on the bottom of my half circle, and then I'm going to glue this onto my 1x2 wood piece that I have. And then I just felt like I wanted something else behind it to help secure it, so I took some of my bigger blocks, and I'm going to use my I went over it with antique wax. Then I'm going to use my Tite Bond glue and hot glue again to glue them, one on each side in the back of it. And that just really helps it feel more sturdy. And then I took some of this purple burlap that I just recently got from Amazon. I'm going to cut the wire part off of it because I wanted it to be a little more flexible. And then I fold it in half, and I'm going to use hot glue to glue it in place so that it stays folded. And then I'm going to take that and wrap it around the cross, and I'm going to add a little bit of hot glue in the back to hold it in place, and then a little bit towards the front, and you'll see how I do that, how I fold it. I'm going to lay it down here, and then I just kind of fold it over to the top part of the cross, or the front part of the cross there, and then just hold it in place. And then I'm going to take some hot glue on the bottom. I felt like the base needed a little something more. And I'm just going to add some Spanish moss to the bottom, and just going to kind of trim it up with my scissors. And then I'm just going to continue adding it to the front, and there it is. I think this is my second favorite. I absolutely love this one too. You have to let me know which one was your favorite today. I hope you enjoyed it. I know my faith-based videos don't do very well, but I had these in mind and really wanted to do them. So here is your final reveal. Again, I'm going to try and have a compilation video up for you on Thursday. If something happens, I might get a new video out, but we're planning a compilation video, so stay tuned for that. So with all of that, you guys, I hope you have a wonderful week. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, like, hype, all that fun stuff. And with all of that, you guys have a wonderful week, and I will see you on the next one. Bye-bye.